Hi, you guys. It's your girl, Kendra Moore, More Life Natural Health and Wellness. Welcome to our Fire Cider Making Workshop. So I am just going to stall a little bit and see if we have people join us. Today we are making homemade fire cider. So you can see that I have here some vegetables. So I put the ingredient list in the workshop invite. So you want to make sure that you picked up your vegetables. If not, you can watch the video afterwards and then make the fire cider. Now, I have some specific fire cider ingredients, and we'll talk about different ways that you can do it, maybe incorporating some of those ingredients, but maybe you have some ideas of your own when it came to making fire cider. So a little bit about myself. My name, again, is Kendra Moore. I am a certified aromatherapist, a certified essential oils coach, and I call myself a natural wellness advocate. I love natural wellness. So my essential oils kind of brought me into the whole world of the vast world of natural wellness, to include how you can make different herbal tonics to help with your health. Now, the herbal tonic that we are making today, the fire cider, this is one that has been around for years. Been around for years, and a lot of people have different variations of it, which is fine. But the core is that you have apple cider vinegar, you have your root vegetables, you have some herbs. And all of those things are basically contributing to making a tonic that is really strong in things such as anti-inflammation properties, antibacterial. It's strong in vitamins and your different nutrients. So all kinds of benefits that they have for your body. So let me start off by showing you some of the ingredients. So these are the ingredients that were on the ingredients list. We have our thyme here. So this is fresh thyme. And we have rosemary. Again, fresh rosemary that we have here. We also have carrot. Actually, 1 carrot, but you can do more than 1 carrot. I might actually grab another carrot. I'll tell you guys what this is in a bit. We have our red bell pepper. We have green bell peppers. If you got yellow bell pepper, that's fine. We have garlic, onions, red onions, white onions. We have citrus. So we have our oranges. You can use any type of citrus for this. And then last but not least, we have horseradish root. Now, horseradish root was a little bit difficult to find because it is something, at least in your traditional American culture, it is not used a whole lot. So you may have had a hard time finding it in the grocery store. If you did find it, I actually went to a small mom and pop farmer's market, and I was able to find horseradish root. This is what it looks like. So you can see it is a huge root. I've had some before that was smaller than this. We don't need this whole amount, okay? So we don't need this whole amount, but I'm super excited that I found this. If you didn't find fresh horseradish root, but you found other horseradish root, you can incorporate that as well. So as we go through making our fire cider, I'm going to talk about the benefits as I did earlier. One thing to keep in mind, I have to do this disclaimer, is that this is not a substitute for medical advice. So if you have serious health issues, please seek a medical provider. I'm making this just based on what I've done in the past and family and friends and sharing it with them, okay? So I want to make that clear. When do you use fire cider? So you use fire cider, you can use it all year round, of course, but here what we're really looking to do is boost our immune system, our nutrients, and just strengthen our overall body. So typically leading up to the cold and flu season is when you would do fire cider. You can also use it for digestive support. So if you have digestive system issues, it's good for your metabolism. So if you want to ramp up your metabolism, which might contribute to some weight loss, you can use fire cider for that. It helps to balance your blood sugar, so it can do that as well. And then it also may reduce inflammation. So those are all the benefits that one may reap from using fire cider. And then I want you guys to let me know which one of those benefits are you most looking forward to doing when you make your fire cider. What did you have in mind? Have you heard about fire cider? Maybe you've made it in the past, or maybe you were just curious about fire cider. All right, so I introduced to you the ingredients that we have. The apple cider vinegar. Of course, you need a mason jar or some type of airtight seal. I would recommend a glass jar, some type seal glass jar. And then I have parchment paper, and I'll explain the need for that at the very end. All right, so let's do our fire cider. What you basically do, and this is why I love making this, is that it's super easy. We're basically cutting up the ingredients and we're putting it in the jar, okay? So I would start with my root vegetables. Let me move this out the way. And I am going to ask my cameraman, David, if he would grab another carrot for me and wash it and hand it to me. Because I'm going to put in 2 carrots, okay? So when you chop your carrots, you're basically just rough chopping. No need to be fancy with it. We know carrots have a lot of beta carotene. That's what gives it its orange color. It's really, really good for your health. We know that, for your eyesight. You know, we've always heard that about carrots. So you're just rough chopping the carrots. And if anyone, thank you, if anyone is out there making this as I'm making it, and if you want to join me, you know, afterwards, maybe we can set up another workshop where we're just kind of sharing how the process went. So you're taking your carrots and you're putting it in. I kind of like putting my root vegetables at the bottom of the jar, right? You want to choose vegetables that are hardy. So that's why you see we have carrots, we have our horseradish roots. If you guys, can you think of any other vegetables that you might want to put into a tonic? Good afternoon, Robert. Thank you for joining me. Peace and blessings to you, my friend. So other types of root vegetables that you can put in here, perhaps turmeric. You know, that would be something that would be very good to put in here. I don't know if you guys know of any other root vegetables that you might want to try. Again, this is like a baseline recipe, but you can switch it up. So we have our carrots. Next, what we're going to do is our horseradish root. Now, I showed you guys the horseradish, right? So I just cut a piece off of this. And again, it doesn't, I love the smell of horseradish. Anyone else loves the smell of horseradish? I don't know why, but it's got like that kind of spicy flavor to it that I love. But for horseradish root is actually really good. We know when we taste it, right, and you have a dish with horseradish, it like instantly opens up your sinuses, so that's always good. It stimulates the digestive system. It helps to clear mucus. So horseradish root is really good. Even though it looks like a tree trunk, I'll show you again, it is actually not that difficult to cut through. I was a little bit concerned. I was like, man, is this thing going to be too hard? But it's not that hard to cut through. So again, we're just chopping it up, doing very, very, kind of just chopping it. We don't have to be neat with it. Again, if you couldn't find the root, you're fine using like, I don't know if they have dried horseradish, but like the horseradish in the jar. You just don't want it like flavored up with sugar or anything like that. So I'm just rough cutting this. Notice that I am not taking off the outside, right? I'm not taking off this. There's like a bark piece here. For this recipe, I'm not going to take that off. All right, I'm just going to leave it in. So we have our horseradish. Now, typically for herbal tonics, you want something that is spicy. If you can't find horseradish root, I've made this before with like habanero peppers, jalapeno peppers. You can do stuff like that. The spiciness is really important because one thing when you get into eating different herbs and spices, that spiciness is said to help move our blood through the system, right? It's very important for that. I know a lot of times in the American diet, we tend to stay away from some spicy stuff. And I don't necessarily mean like hot, burn your tongue hot, but something just with a spicy flavor. So it's very important to include that in your diet, as well as things that are bitter as well. So now I am peeling the garlic. And can anyone guess why we are using garlic? If you think about garlic, have you ever used or made any kind of, my air conditioner is blowing my garlic peels everywhere. Have you ever used garlic in any type of wellness recipes? Garlic actually has great antibacterial properties, and we're smashing the garlic, okay? So we're gonna smash the garlic up. And great antiviral properties, so that's why you want to include garlic in here. Now, you may be thinking, ugh, that's going to taste like, ugh, but it's not. All the flavors marry together really, really well. So I'm taking the garlic, right? I just smashed it. Again, I'm doing a rough chop just to release some of these flavors. My jar is 24, I believe 32 ounce jar, just to give you a feel. I am going to put probably about 4 or 5 heads of garlic. You guys, be generous when you're doing this, okay? So if anyone is out there making this as we speak, feel free to chime in and let me know how the process is going for you. So we're throwing the garlic in. Now, I also like to keep garlic around for this onion, garlic type of soup that I make when you do have a cold. Our Fire Tonic is really to help us boost the immune system. You can take it, of course, if you do have a cold, but what I would recommend if you have a cold, and this works really well, is that you basically take garlic and onion. And by the way, you can leave the peels on when you're dropping it into your mason jar. Garlic and onions and some herbs with all the peels on the onions, the peels on your garlic and everything. And you basically boil that in a bone broth, let it simmer like a soup. You may add a little bit of salt to it and then sip it. So that actually makes a great comforting and really helps the immune system when you are sick, when you have a sore throat. So next I have my red onion. So you'll see that I have a red onion and I have a white onion. If you picked up a yellow onion, that's fine. You don't need, you don't have to have all of them, but do recognize that our colors and our fruits and vegetables kind of denote that some have a little bit of something different than the other ones, right? So for that reason, when I'm doing a tonic or when I'm doing that cold and flu thing that I was just talking to you about, that kind of soupy broth, I tend to use 2 different types of onions. So here I am using, for this, our herbal tonic, we're going to put in our white onions, and then we're also going to put in the red onions. If you picked up yellow onions, that's fine. Again, if you only had 1 onion, that works too. I just took the peel off so I can chop this baby up. You guys let me know if you have done any type of herbal tonics. Maybe you've seen your grandmother or your mom or your auntie or someone like that has made, because we have to remember, with our history, our people largely lived off the land, right? And I know, especially in the South, I'm a Southern girl. My people are from South Carolina. And my aunt, one of my aunts today, she still goes out and she will forage for different herbs and leaves and roots. And you'll go into her house and she has jars of stuff that she's made. I don't know what it is, but it is stuff that she uses for all kinds of ailments and things like this. So while doing stuff like this is new to us, it's certainly been around for thousands and hundreds of years. Hey, Fatima, what about ginger? Yes, ginger would be great to go in this, Robert. So we know ginger and turmeric are actually like cousins, right? So they provide such great properties when you're sick and help with inflammation and help to boost the immune system. So yes, you can absolutely put ginger in here as well. So I'm putting my yellow onion. Now I'm going to cut a little piece of the red onion. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, we have to remember that this is like our history, and we have to kind of get back to that, I feel. Kind of get back to that, using natural remedies. Not that there isn't a place for Western medicine, because I do believe there very much is a place for Western medicine, so I'm not against that at all. That said, I also believe that no one can duplicate nature to its fullest. And when you start studying about natural health and wellness, you know, what's interesting, one of the most fascinating things that I learned is that actually our medications that we take are largely plant-derived, meaning that they figured out from history, from, you know, native peoples, etc., that, oh, you know what, if you take this herb or this spice or this leaf or root, then it heals, you know, X, Y, and Z, right? Or it can support your body in X, Y, and Z ways. And then what they do is they actually isolate that particular compound that is performing that task. And then that is what gets made into a lot of our medications. And I think the statistic is like 60% of our medications are kind of have a plant, not base, but plant history behind it. I also love all the colors when we start doing this as well. The thing is when you isolate something, right, that means you're taking that one piece out, but you don't have all the other magic that was natural in that whatever plant or vegetable or whatever you got it from. So, you know, you're kind of missing that piece. So again, that's why I think if the more we can get back to using whole foods, whole vegetables, plants and such, seeds, all kinds of things, then we're better off. All right, now I'm cutting my bell peppers. I got red bell pepper and I got a green bell pepper. You could have also gotten the yellow bell pepper. You don't have to get them both again. Bell peppers, actually, and I have my little notes. So our bell peppers are also good because they have a lot of antibacterial properties. Bell peppers actually are great by themselves, just with some, like a little bit of dressing. I love bell peppers. I love making stuffed bell peppers. So my child does not eat too much fruits and vegetables, although I try to get him to, but you know how teenagers are. But he does love when I make stuffed bell peppers. He loves that. So we're just chopping this up. We're going to put this in the jar. And I think we're almost done. There we go. We got our bell peppers in here. The seeds, the core, notice I didn't core it. I didn't do any of that stuff. We just chopped it up and put it in here. Next, our citrus fruits. Now, what is citrus good for, you guys? I know you know this. This is like basic, right? What is citrus good for our bodies? Why do we use citrus fruit when we're sick or to help? Because it's got a lot of vitamin C in it, right? Little known fact, orange is actually great for inflammation. I have orange, and this I am actually going to peel only because you can see my jar is getting quite full. So I want enough in here. So I'm just going to peel this and put some in here. But yeah, orange essential oil actually comes from the rind. All of your citrus essential oil, orange, lemon, grapefruit, tangerine, etc. The essential oils actually come from the rind of your fruit, not the inside. The juice is different. That said, if you have enough room in your jar, go ahead and you can go ahead and put the rind in. If not, just put this in. Just peel it and put it in. You can use any types of citrus. I chose orange because of the flavor. If you like lemon, you can choose lemon as well. So that would be good. You can put orange and lemon. You're really only limited to how much space you have in your jar. And you can see that we are running out of space, but we are almost done. Okay? So let's put this in here. How are you guys doing? Vitamin C, yes. Yes, Robert, vitamin C. Let's see, I'm gonna put a little more. I love the smell of orange as well in terms of like aromatherapy. Orange is known to help brighten your spirits, brighten your mood. So, you know, when you eat an orange, you get that wonderful smell. It kind of wakes you up. And you guys, you can be messy with this. I'm not trying to be neat, as you can see. So we're just packing it all in. Pack it in, baby. All right. So I have my orange in here. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. And then the last thing we're going to do is we are going to, in terms of our herbs, we're going to add in our rosemary and tarragon. And you can choose whatever herbs that you like. If you have other dried herbs that you like, feel free to add it in. So I have rosemary and tarragon here. The best part about this recipe is that you don't have to take off all these little green parts of the tarragon. We're basically smashing it and sticking it right in here. So that's all we're gonna do. And fit as much as your heart desires. Again, just smash the herbs in and around. I love the smell of tarragon. Tarragon is so great with chicken and fish. Rosemary is probably one of my favorite essential oils. So the interesting thing about rosemary is that it does make an essential oil out of these, as well as, and I'm only chopping this just to stuff it in, as well as rosemary has been actually studied and scientifically proven. I think it's one of the most scientifically studied herbs. To actually boost your brain and helping you to recall things. So they did this study where students were, a scientific study, where students were actually studying for an exam. And one set of students, they were diffusing rosemary essential oil. And then the other set of students, you know, was just normal. And what they found is the students with that rosemary essential oil being diffused actually had greater recall than the ones that didn't. Rosemary is also very well known and highly studied for helping to promote hair growth. So whenever you see me do these recipes for hair, you'll notice that I'll always include rosemary essential oil in it because it helps to stimulate the hair follicles and it helps to promote and strengthen the hair follicles. So we have all of our beautiful vegetables, we have our citrus, we have our herbs in here. And the last thing that we are going to do is we are going to take, and I'm actually going to see if I can put a little bit more orange in here. We're going to take our apple cider vinegar and pour in here. Now, apple cider vinegar, have you guys used apple cider vinegar before? I know it's really, really big. A lot of people. Actually, I was buying my horseradish root at that little farmer's place I told you guys about, and the guy was a couple. He was like, what are you going to do with that? And so I told him what I was doing. And then when I said apple cider vinegar, he was like, oh, my wife used to take a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, you know, to help with digestion, to help with metabolism, you know, great properties. The only thing with apple cider vinegar is if you are taking it straight, you need to make sure that you are rinsing your mouth because it is acidic and you don't want that, especially if you do it at night, to be sitting on your teeth. I know people mix apple cider vinegar with water. This is actually great for your skin, so I've used it as a skin toner as well. So we're going to take our apple cider vinegar and simply fill this up, okay? So I see Jean Kelly has joined. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mom. So we're going to just fill up this jar with our apple cider vinegar. And I got the apple cider vinegar with the mother. So typically for wellness recipes, that's kind of what you want with the mother because that has all of like the active type of yeast and things like that. That's really great for your health. All right, so here we have our jar filled with apple cider vinegar. Doesn't it look beautiful? Love all the colors. Love all the colors. So once you have this filled, keep in mind, if you have a lot of people or you want to gift this to somebody, you may want to do more than one jar because a lot of the volume in this jar is filled up by our fruits and our vegetables, okay? So when you pour this off, it's not going to be this jar full. So keep that in mind. I actually have a couple of empty jars here I'm going to chop up when we go off camera and make another batch. That batch will be for you, Mom. This is my second batch. So when you top this up, you'll see on the supply list, I had parchment paper. So that's because you don't want your top to kind of stick. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in our kitchen cabinet. And every once in a while, once a day, we're going to give it a little shake. When you shake it, of course, the cider vinegar is going to get in the top, and that can make it a little bit like sticky when you open it. So the parchment paper is just to kind of wrap around the top here before you put your top on. So we're going to do this. Put this on. I'll tear some of this excess off. You want to store this in a cool, dry place. So I would recommend in a kitchen cabinet someplace that you open it so you don't forget about it. So don't put it in someplace in a cabinet that you never go in, because you want to make sure when you open the cabinet and you see it, you're like, oh, let me give this a shake, right? So you want to give this a shake. Robert says, so this is something you would drink straight or you would, okay. So let's get into the use. Great transition, Robert. What you would do with this, I'm just making sure this is full. Let me just say this real quick. So you want to make sure that at least once a day, maybe 3-4 times a week, if you forget, just go to it and give it a little shake. It's going to sit in your cabinet for 4 to 6 weeks. The reason that is because the apple cider vinegar is literally, we're using this as like an extractor. It's extracting out all the nutrients, all the goodies that we talked about, right? The benefits of these. So that takes time, 4 to 6 weeks. This is why I say normally you do this ahead of cold and flu season. We're still at the beginning, so I didn't think it was too late to do this because it's not something that you use immediately, okay? So you want to make sure that you put a date on here. See if I have mine. But you want to make sure that you put the date on here so that way you can track it, and you know what's today's date. David's helping me. So today is the 8th, right? And then that way I know in 4 weeks this bad boy is ready to go. I usually let this sit for 6 weeks, honestly, but you can start using it at 4 weeks. All right, so what ways can you think about us using fire cider once it's done? Does anyone have any ideas? When you look at what's inside, I know we put a lot in here. Any ideas on how you would use fire cider? So, any ideas, David? All right, so David said it looks like it can be a good salad dressing, and he is correct. This is awesome in a salad dressing. what you can do is you can take this and put it in a bowl, and you can either try it straight. If you feel like it's too strong, you can add a little bit of honey to it and mix that up, and then sprinkle it over your salad. I see Robert says as a smoothie, you can do a tablespoon you can try a tablespoon in a smoothie. I would say in a green smoothie though, you can give that a try because the types of fruits and vegetables we have in here is a little bit like almost like an Italian type of dressing taste, right? So just think of that when you're making your smoothie. It might be good in a green smoothie. I don't know if I would do it in like a strawberry banana type of smoothie. The other great way that you can incorporate this is in cooking. So you can use some for if you're making a soup. Maybe you add a little bit of this in a soup. You can also use this as a marinade for meat. So that works really well. Again, when you use this, you use it for a marinade or something like that, you would take some of this fire cider, maybe you incorporate a little bit of balsamic vinegar in it, season it with a little bit of pepper or something like that. So, you can use this as like a base for your marinade. Can you have it directly? Directly is actually the ideal way to have it. And what you would do is just basically take, I think it's like a teaspoon, and sip it, right? You can put a little bit in a cup of water, like a tablespoon in a cup of water, mix that, and then drink it like that. Orange juice, tea, and if you need to sweeten it for the taste, you can sweeten this with honey. I've seen some recipes where they say you can go ahead and add the honey in here while it's marinating. My recommendation is add the honey when you need it. That way you can kind of preserve it and use it for a salad dressing, use it for marinade, or, just sip it straight. What about marinating? Okay, yeah, so you can use it for marinating. So those are the main ways that you can use it. Let me make sure that I'm not missing. Yep. So that's that. So at the end, let's talk about what we do at the end. At the end of the 4 to 6 weeks, what you're going to do is you are going to strain the liquid off. So either with a cheesecloth, maybe you have like a strainer, right, that you can pour this in and catch the juice. Then you're going to bottle it up. So what I would recommend is just use the same glass jar that you have, put it in here, or maybe you have something that's smaller, and store it in the refrigerator. And this should keep really well for at least 6 months in the refrigerator. So 4 to 6 months, you can use this. So this is what makes fire cider so powerful, is that we're not just talking about you just have it for a week. We don't want to go through all this work and not be able to really capitalize on it in the long term. So do I have any other questions or comments? I hope you guys found this workshop helpful for us talking about this. Again, like I said, these were the ingredients that I chose. Feel free to play around. Robert talked about using, we talked about turmeric, we talked about ginger. You can use other root vegetables as well, making sure I don't have any comments. Would you use beets? Yes, you can use beets as well. So any root vegetable would work really great in here. So if you want to add beets to it, you can add beets to this. That's a great question. All right. So we are at the end of our time. I scheduled this for an hour, but look how fast, and even with all my talking, it took us about 35 minutes to do this. So imagine how quickly you will do it at home when you go out, gather your vegetables, and do this. Again, remember, one of the key things, put something spicy in here. I have horseradish root, but you can use jalapeno peppers, whatever type of peppers that you want. That's typically the baseline of a fire cider. We need something really spicy. Even if you want to add red pepper flakes in here, you can do that as well. Yes, this will be posted, Robert, so you can catch this on a replay. It'll be on the Feel Good Talk page. I will repost this to my page. And then I also want to let you guys know that I have a YouTube channel called Kendra More Life. So my last name and then life afterwards. All one word, Kendra More Life. So check out my YouTube channel because that has over 100 DIY recipes that I have done and videos that I've done, natural wellness, all dedicated to natural wellness. And that way you can see everything. I have it categorized, skincare, and all kinds of stuff there. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I encourage you to go on and subscribe. Also, my website is more-life.com, and I will be hosting an aromatherapy workshop next. So that's the next thing that I'm working on. I actually have a collaboration with, if you caught Let's Talk About It, the talk show that Izzy and I do Thursday nights at 7:30. Our guests were this beautiful couple. They have a beautiful plant shop, and we did the show about the plant shop. Right now, I will be there in November hosting a aromatherapy workshop. So hopefully I can set up streaming for that as well. We'll see, but if not, then I'll look to repost that. If you guys have any questions about Fire Cider, natural health and wellness, feel free to just message me, drop a comment. I really hope you guys give this a try. If you do, try it. How about you take a picture with it, hashtag Fire Cider, tag me in it, because I want to see what you create and how you're using it. So in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you next Sunday. All right, take care.